Well, it was pleasant because I was very young, therefore it was pleasant.
Yes.
But the convent was not pleasant because I wasn't a Catholic or anything when I went there. My father was an atheist, and wasn't my thing at all. And they had to change me. And they changed me. By the time I was 10, I was a Catholic. And I was a Catholic till I was 17, but by that time I was already beginning to get very messed up in my mind. But sort of, I don't know, it was very strange. Sort of weird things like a week of total retreat, you know, which was totally loony, and you could just read anything, and we used to read the most incredible things. It was all right, because it was so long ago and nice and young.
But you're not a Catholic now?
No.
What is your faith? Do you have a faith?
I'm getting very, very interested in pagan England. And, you know, you can reject Catholic, yeah, and all these things. And India seems to be, people seem to turn to India. But it's so far away from me. It isn't part of my, it's just not, we don't really relate to India.
No.
It's for them. I think our scene is very interesting, before they messed it.
I feel this very much, that one seems to see a generation that is very nihilistic, and I think, in fact, a lot of young people today would probably answer that they don't believe in God and they don't believe in life after death. Do you think there is anything replacing this lack, as it were, this lack of faith in the modern generation? Or is it just a belief in themselves?
No, it's neither. Most young people I know actually believe in reincarnation, which is another thing altogether. I believe in reincarnation.
Oh, I find that very way out. Tell me why you believe in that.
Because otherwise there's no hope. It's totally unfair. This terrible, terrible idea of total damnation or total paradise, which is simply not possible, really. And it works out. You can really understand it so much better if you realize that it's part of a long plan. And the whole thing is a very long plan, and we've all been going through it lots of times. And each time we're trying to get a bit more, each life.
But isn't the now sufficient to you? Isn't the moment of existing here and now sufficient?
Absolutely. It's not sufficient, because sufficient isn't the scene. But it's a gas, and that's the main thing. You can't hang yourselves up with the past or with the future. But if you can see it in a very big way, you find that the problems, those little things that people moan about, recede a lot.
Have you read books on psychology? I mean, are you self-aware, as it were?
Psychology I've always thoroughly disliked, because my father and my grandfather were very involved in it, and they laid it on me, and I didn't dig it. So psychology, I never want to see a psychologist. I do that. But I think spiritually it's much more interesting. And science, real science, is where it's at. Real science, finding the fourth dimension.
Your mother said of you, the minute Marianne gets to London, someone will discover her, and indeed they did.
Absolutely, it was incredibly loony.
I mean, did you literally arrive overnight with a suitcase in your hand, and, and the following week?
No. No, I just came up for a party. They said, would you like to come to a party in London? And I said, oh, I've never been to a party in London. Okay. And I went to a party with the man I later married, John, a long time ago. And Andrew Oldham was at the party and discovered me. It was very funny.
You've said, you've been quoted as saying that he is your Svengali and you're his Trilby. I mean, to what an extent does he have a tremendous influence on you?
He has no influence at all. A long time ago, he did, because I didn't know what I was doing. And he said everything for me. I mean, even when they discovered me, it was incredible. I was just standing there, and there was John, and there was Andrew Oldham, and they weren't talking to me. They were saying, Andrew said to him, can she sing? And he said, I don't know. And they talked about me like this, and then they said, can you sing? And I, you know, it was incredible. No one ever, I didn't know what was happening.
But I tell you what is extraordinary about it, and looking through, as I have been today, through your press clippings, you seem to have been fortunate inasmuch as you associated with tremendously professional people, people who really did know the scene, and they knew how to make it happen. How much do you think this has been a major contribution in your career thus far, that you have been associated with tremendously gifted people?
Well, it's you know, it's everything, absolutely everything. Andrew, for what he does, is the best person in the world who does it. For just making what he did, a face, and he just did it. He was brilliant.
After the success of your first pop record, As Tears Go By, and your subsequent follow-ups, you did a series of one-night stands. Were these terribly grueling?
Yes. It was terrible.
What is it? Is it just the physical exhaustion of having to travel around at such a speed?
Well, there are two levels. The first lot I did were what they call tours, which are really not too bad, where you go out for 5 weeks. Oh, 5 weeks with all these groups that are very nice. They're all nice, and you have quite a nice time, but it's just too long. But you play in theatres, and the audience sit down, and they're quiet. And it's all right, and the acoustics are good, and it's okay. That I could make. And then after that, because you get much more money if you work in ballrooms, and I needed money very badly then. So I did all these ballrooms, and they were so terrible. I just didn't know what I was doing. The incredible thing once, in Aberdeen, right at far, far away, in the Palais in Aberdeen, and I was trying to sing folk songs to these people. Incredible Scottish rockers all yelling obscenities at me. So I drew myself very tall and said, very sort of high voice, "I'm sure that all people of all classes can appreciate folk music." And sort of burst into tears, and they just threw things at me. It was just incredible. All classes could. So it was it was a disaster. So I had to stop that.
You say that you needed money. How conscious of money are you in the doors that money can open?
Well, it's really boring to just buy private jet planes. You know. Money can be used for very big things, because if you can get enough people who've got a lot of money, you can change things that happen. You can start things that only governments can do usually. You can do things not for power, but just for a gas, and because things are so awful.
But you worked, for instance, at the Royal Court when you did The Three Sisters, which was quite a triumph for you. I mean, you worked, it's been reported, for £30 a week, when you could have been making a lot more money. So, to a great extent...
But I enjoyed that much more than I do when I'm making a lot of money, somehow, because they're not using you at all. They're using you for what you've really got. I mean, they're paying £30 a week, and all they want from you is for you to work.
But you do get comfort, do you, from a bank balance, from knowing that you are quids in?
I don't think I've had a bank balance for 3 years. I think they took my checkbook away. The first 6 months I was in the pop business, and I wasn't allowed a checkbook, and I was bouncing checks all over. So I never had a checkbook for ages. And I have a bit of money which I'm not allowed to touch, because I really have no idea. If I have money, I can't keep it.